So this is a video on high housing costs. I came across a meme the other day that I want to discuss here. The meme says, this is what Americans believe are the biggest causes of high housing costs in the United States. So it lists different factors or different arguments, and it says this is what people believe are by percentage for each one that people say are the biggest costs of high housing prices. So, what I would like to do is discuss each of these arguments. There are 10 of them, and break down that argument and explain whether that's correct or not, and try to serve the purpose of having you understand what's causing housing prices to be so high. So I will go through these one by one, and then whatever is not covered in that discussion, I will fill in the blanks and explain the cause of our high housing prices. In case you're interested, I'll give you the main answer right up front. The main and almost only cause of high housing prices are one, primarily money printing by the government, pushing up the prices of housing. Only the government can print money. When it adds additional money to the economy, it makes everything more expensive. And then number two, low interest rates, which guess who manipulates? The government. The government controls the quantity and the price of money, i.e. the interest rate. What the government has done in the last 20 years or so, 15 years or so, is manipulate interest rates lower, and which, if you think about it, mortgages are financed, there's interest rates you pay. It has artificially lowered the rate of interest, which artificially increases housing prices because the less interest people pay, the more they're willing to fork out to buy the houses. So the combination of money printing driving prices higher, especially asset prices. The stock market rises more faster than consumer prices because money flows into that from the money printing disproportionately. The same happens to housing. So money flows disproportionately from the printing presses into the housing market, and that's helped by artificially low interest rates that the Fed and the government has manipulated. So, in short, the problem with housing is what you voted for, the government to help, but it's not really helping. All of this is man-made, it's created by politicians. Let's go through these arguments and break them down. The first argument, which let's see how these percentages work. It doesn't really explain. I guess it's percent of respondents who agree with this. So 48% of respondents argue that investors are buying up housing to turn a profit. This is probably the most plausible explanation of all of these, and I'm going to explain how that's related to what I just explained about housing. Investors are the first to get new money that's printed and loaned out, and they can invest at different places. They invested in housing, they invested in the stock market. Those rise faster than prices in the rest of the economy. So, yes, investors are getting new money that's printed by the government. They're investing in different places. And in the last 20 years, a big place they've invested is in the housing market. Investors are buying real estate, they're buying raw land, and they're buying homes themselves and often renting them out or doing it temporarily to resell them at a higher price. Why do they think the prices will go up? Because they keep going up, because the Fed keeps lowering rates and we keep printing money. So that is the mechanism by which housing prices go up based on what I said about the money printing and the manipulation of interest rates. So I think that one is kind of largely true, maybe not to the extent that people think. They think people can just buy stuff and manipulate prices. It's not that simple. It's a function of money supply being channeled into certain places. The next one, at 46% of people agreeing with this, is it's sideways, I have to read it. The materials used to build homes are too expensive. Okay, now we're getting into a weird area. Um, no, it's not that the materials are too expensive per se. The materials are expensive for the same reason the homes are expensive, because money is flowing into that. Investors are paying money for homes, but before that, or as part of that, I can't think of what you call home builders are paying up for more um, expensive inputs and materials because they can sell homes for a higher and higher price. So input prices tend to follow the end retail price. So it's all part of the same phenomenon. Input prices and home prices are kind of two sides of the same coin. So yes, it's correct. It's because the materials are too expensive, but it's really just inflation. That's why they're expensive. The next one, landlords are raising rents faster than necessary. No, absolutely not. Total bullshit. Anybody in the economy, whether it's big corporations, grocery stores, your retail store, if you have one, you cannot raise prices on people arbitrarily. I mean, you can, but guess what? You're going to get fewer revenues. If you're selling ham sandwiches and the average ham sandwich is going for $7 and you charge 10, unless yours is really superior, people aren't buying your ham sandwich, or they're buying fewer of them. You cannot sell for more than the market price. You will price yourself out of the market. So no, landlords similarly cannot just raise prices. If landlords A, B, and C raise prices, then landlords D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P are going to get that business. People are going to go to them because they have not raised prices. If all landlords try to raise prices, there's not enough, unless there's been money printing, there's not enough money to pay all of them higher prices. Somebody's going to lose, and guess what? They're going to have to keep their price low. So unless money is being printed, people cannot charge more. They will get less because there's not enough spending to pay all of those higher prices. So once again, what looks like landlords raising prices is really the result of money printing. We blame landlords, we blame grocery stores, we blame big companies for arbitrarily raising prices. It's funny, when the Fed's not printing money at a fast rate, those entities cannot raise prices very much. When the Fed raises prices, boy, can those entities, when the Fed prints money, boy, can those entities raise prices fast. No one seems to, at least the leftists, the people that make these arguments, don't seem to notice that correlation. Economics is real. There are economic cause and effects and constraints. So it is only money printing that allows people to raise prices. And I will go further and say it forces them to raise prices. The problem is money printing by the government, not landlords or grocery stores or other big companies. The next one, at 33%, elected officials do not prioritize policies to make housing more affordable. That's just stupid. Politicians can't make housing more affordable. How could they possibly make housing more affordable? Oh, you might say they could subsidize it. guess what? Like healthcare, like education, that makes it more expensive. When they subsidize it, they're adding the amount of money, that amount of money into that area that drives prices higher. There's nothing, politicians can't solve any problem. They don't produce anything, they don't make anything, they don't know anything. All they can do is manipulate the market, and almost always it's for the worse. Politicians cannot make housing prices more affordable. Well, they could. They could quit printing money or reverse the money supply and make prices go lower. They actually could do that. They could do that starting tomorrow, but they won't. They always print money. They never take money away. So if they're not printing money, and the only way you can have an increase in housing, have a reduction in housing prices, is by having an increase in the supply of housing. And I assure you, home builders are pumping out houses as quickly as they can. Prices are still rising. That's because of inflation. So politicians can do nothing except quit taxing you, quit printing money. They'll never do either of those, so they can't and won't do a thing to help you. So no, it is not politicians that are not taking actions that are the reason that housing prices are rising. They're causing housing prices to rise by supporting the money printing. The next one, too many immigrants moving into the United States. No, that doesn't do it either. An increase in the population does not raise prices. It's not people who buy things, it's people's money. People can only get the money that exists. If you don't print money and increase the quantity, prices cannot and will not rise. And as you're making more houses and more of everything else, prices fall. They positively fall. That's what used to happen in this country. So no, it's not immigrants. Whoever comes here has to obtain some of the same money that's already existing in the country. The same dollars are existing. They have to get a hold of them, but they don't bring additional dollars. So it's not the immigrants. Workers hired to build homes are too expensive. No, it's the same as the materials. Wages rise because of inflation, and they're part of the input price, and input prices are based on selling prices. It all comes back to inflation. The next one, people are converting their homes into Airbnb instead. No, I mean, yeah, technically, if a lot of homes became Airbnbs and there's less of a supply of homes to buy, then yeah, that would increase home prices, I think. But really, what's the percentage of Airbnbs as compared to the total amount of housing supply? I don't think it's that great. I think even if it increased the prices, it would only be by 1, 2, 3%, not by 5, 10% a year as has been happening. That's inflation. So no, it's not Airbnb. The next one, people moving within the U.S. to where housing is expensive. No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, you move to where housing is expensive. Well, that will make the expensive houses more expensive, but it would cause the less expensive houses in the areas that people moved from to fall in price. And so the average, the median, would remain the same. So I don't understand that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. The next to the last one, at 9% of people agreeing, is it takes too long to build housing. No, I mean, it doesn't take longer than before. If it does, it's not too much longer. And what counts is what's the increase in supply. Go and Google the number of houses in the U.S. as a percent of the population. You'll see that the amount of houses increases right along with the population. So It's not taking longer. We would have fewer houses relative to people. That's not a thing. Well, the last one is not sure, so we don't need to discuss that. So hopefully from that discussion, you can see that the constant theme is money printing. That's what makes prices go higher. The prices of anything, of everything I'm looking at, my couch, my home, my computer, my camera, my phone, my shirt. It's only money printing that makes prices go higher. The businesses and workers are out there busy increasing the supply every year. Prices should fall as a result, but instead, politicians are printing money at a faster rate than we're pumping out goods and services. That's making prices rise. So don't blame home builders, don't blame home construction workers, don't blame landlords. Blame the politicians and blame yourself for voting for them. That is the only cause of inflation. Vote for someone who's going to lower prices or quit voting and protest. All of this is man made. All of our problems are man made, and higher housing prices certainly are. You can stop it tomorrow if only you'll believe what I'm saying. If you don't believe me, research other sources, talk to ChatGPT about it. But I assure you what I'm saying is correct. We can stop this tomorrow, but you have to understand and understand economics, understand cause and effect, and take action. Quit protesting stupidities like Trump, who is a stupidity, but quit protesting Trump and protest the policies that all Democrats and all Republicans are engaging in. They're the ones controlling the central bank and printing money every year. You're letting them do it by continuing to vote for either or both of them. So please quit doing it. That's the cause of the housing problem.